Isn't it crazy to think about how fun and exciting the holidays were as a kid? We would wait all year round just for the months of November and December. And not just because we get out of school, but because you get to spend time with your family, you get gifts, you get to eat good food, and it's just a lot of fun. But as we grow up and become adults, we realize how complicated the holidays actually are. And this can be for many different reasons. For travel, because you got to figure out where you're going to go, or for how expensive it can be. All the parties involved, all the gifts you got to buy. If you have kids, you got to make it magical for them so they can have a similar experience as you. Or it can be family. So today I'm going to be talking about a tough topic, and that is how to deal with difficult people over the holidays. So stick around. This is the Reflection Room, and my name is Hannah. So, over the past few years of my experience as a therapist, I've realized that the holiday months get booked up really fast. People get really stressed out thinking about all the different things that go into it, but one of the bigger problems is how to deal with their family. And going back through family history, all of that, I'll leave that aside for now. But today we're going to talk about how to cope with family during this season. So, if you have a difficult family and you're worried about it, trying to get prepared for it, trying to figure out how to deal with certain family members, certain friends, whoever is involved, this is for you. So, I would say that the number one part of this, and this will help you throughout the rest of my tips, but the number one tip in all of this is to come from a place of curiosity. If you can imagine yourself in their shoes, it might help you understand them a little bit better and to be more empathetic. Coming from a place of empathy, if you can ask yourself, what might be going on in their life? What might be happening that I don't know about? That can help you understand that there's more to their behavior than you see on the surface. There's always a deeper layer. If you think of it like an ogre from Shrek, they're an onion. So there's the layers to them. There's layers to people. There's layers to everyone. And there's always a deeper understanding of them that you're not going to see on the surface, especially during the holidays, because a lot of people get stressed and they're just trying to get through it. If you can understand that there is something deeper going on that possibly could be going on that you don't know about, it can help you step back and take a look at them in a different way. What if you know this person's history? What if you know how they were raised, what they went through in their younger years, their childhood years, and you know that's why they act the way they do now? That's even more helpful, because then you know that their childhood experience influences the way that they act now, just like everybody else on this planet. So if you can see them in that light, you know their history, then you can be a more understanding person, realizing that maybe they haven't dealt with that yet. Maybe they don't understand how that's influencing their behavior now, but you do. So that kind of puts you a little bit ahead on the understanding, the empathy. So if you know this person, try to look at their past and try to understand them from that experience. If you don't know this person and you're fairly new, you don't know them very well, and it's an appropriate setting to ask questions, I would say ask questions. Be curious. People love it when they can talk about themselves most of the time. And that brings me into my next point, which is turning this conversation onto them. This could be whoever you're having a difficult time with, friend, family, group of people. But when you are getting hounded with questions or somebody puts the topic of conversation on you and you don't like that topic, you can turn that conversation around. And you can do that by creating scripted answers. So beforehand, as you're getting prepared, if you know that someone's going to ask a question that they do every year, that it comes up all the time and you just hate answering that question, you can come up with a scripted answer and you can answer that in the moment. So beforehand, before you go to the party or the holiday or the dinner, make sure you have that on your mind. It could be in your phone. You could whip it out at dinner and answer the question that way. But I would say come up with these scripted answers beforehand so that you can change the subject and push it back on them, or set that boundary And you can go back to my episode on boundaries, but setting that boundary is really important in this situation, because if they're putting a topic of conversation onto you that you're not comfortable with, you need to set that boundary. So coming up with a scripted answer beforehand can help you set that boundary and be confident about it. And I would say some common questions around the holidays could be, why are you still single? When are you going to start dating? When are you going to get married? When are you going to start having kids? When are you going to go back to school? Like, these are common questions that get asked all the time, and a lot of clients complain about how frequently they get asked these questions and how annoying they can get and how much pressure they put on you. So if you come up with a script beforehand, it'll help you a lot with those situations. And along with creating scripted answers to questions, you can also create scripts to change the subject. So if you're ready for some hot topics at your family dinner, like politics, you might want to come up with some conversation turners to get that off the topic, because that can be a really heated topic at Thanksgiving this year, or Christmas, or whatever holiday you're celebrating, because we just had a really big election. So if you think that politics might come up and you might be asked those questions, then it might be a good idea to script some, or be prepared with some conversation topic changers. The conversation being put on you, the focus on you, is to step away if you can, to get outside, go to your car, maybe go to the bathroom for an extended period of time. And while you're away, you can do a breathing technique, a grounding technique, something to ground yourself. That way you can relax and then get back out there. And something you can also do to help with this is to set boundaries, and set that time boundary especially before you get to the event. So or when you arrive, you can say, I can be here for 2 hours and then I have to leave, or however long you want to set it. But that sets it for you, and it sets it for everybody else that's at the event, and they're aware of it before you try to make your exit. So that'll help you in those situations. Another idea is to invite a buffer. This could be somebody you're friends with, it could be somebody you're dating, maybe a little bit more serious with. And that way your family or friends are focused on that person and they're on their best behavior. Because that's typically what they do, is they want to focus on that person, they want to learn things about them. So they're going to be asking them questions, but it usually won't get that deep. And they're going to be on their best behavior. So that's always an option if you want to invite a buffer. So overall, my 2 biggest, most important tips for this holiday season for you is to come from that place of curiosity and to set those boundaries. Those are my 2 most important tips. I hope you all have the best holidays, and I hope they go smoothly. But until next time, keep on reflecting.